So one thing that I realize when you own a sports team is it's larger than a sports team. It's a social institution. You're doing it for the fans. You're doing it for the broader population. I'm really glad we're situated in Brooklyn because we have the best fans in the world. And having this building, Barclays Center here, kind of fortuitously, we have this square or plaza in front of us with some empty space. So then this became a location for people to gather and focus on whatever social cause that they want to focus on. This building has been the site of for us to hand out food food in cooperation with food banks. Right. It's been the site of vaccinations. It's been the site of voting. And obviously with the last year after the George Floyd incident, people protested for social justice against racism. And I think that's very, very important. And seeing all this happen organically in front of Barclays Center, that was great. I felt very, very good about it.
Did you ever think, you just bought this team now a couple of years ago. Did you ever think you would be involved in all of this?
No, I didn't. I guess 4 years ago, I had no idea. But the NBA is very interesting. It's a very, I think it's a quite interesting sort of economic proposition in addition to all this glitzy fanfare, right? When you look at the players, they're huge mega superstars. But the business side of things is also quite attractive in that team values are rising every year. And but before I came into this, I had no idea that this was going to work the way it did.
I want to talk more about the economics of basketball in just a minute, but I want to ask you about this because you got involved in something called the Asian American Foundation, founding it effectively. It's really the first foundation focused on Asian Americans in the country in this way. And it comes, by the way, on the heels, we're talking about Black Lives Matter. How did you get involved in that, and what is it that you're trying to do?
So this happened more than a year ago, actually. I started to notice sort of rising anti-Asian sentiment because of COVID. Everybody thinks that COVID came from China, and therefore, as a Chinese person, I kind of felt it personally. And then you start to see a lot of crimes happening. So there was a period of time when every day you wake up, you see a new report of anti-Asian hate crime. So a group of us Asian Americans got together. We formed the Asian American Foundation. And what are the problems that we're trying to solve, right? If you look at the Asian American community in America, everybody's okay with Asian Americans as long as things are going well. If the economy is well, the Asian Americans play by the rules, prosper together with everybody else, that's fine. But if there's a crisis, if there's a pandemic, there's a war, or there's an economic downturn, Asian Americans get scapegoated. Right. And just look at history, right? Back in the 1800s, they banned Chinese immigrants coming into America. And during World War II, when America was at war with Japan, they actually interned, they put 120,000 American citizens that are of Japanese descent into concentration camps. And then you have, in the 80s, Vincent Chin. What happened was there was a economic downturn because Japanese cars were overtaking American cars. So there was a huge animosity against the Japanese in Detroit. Vincent Chin, who's Chinese, by the way, went to a bar, got beaten up. They killed him. They beat him to death by 2 auto workers in Detroit. And these 2 guys got off pretty much without any jail time. So there's a lot of that sort of undertone of anti-Asian sentiment. When things are good, that's fine. When things are bad for everyone, that's when those ugly shoots come out.